1, 2, 3. Don't F with me, the podcast. Yeah.
Don't f with me.
So hi and welcome back to the Don't F With Me, the podcast. I'm your host, OG TEGA, and my beautiful co-host,
Chubby Oddly.
that's right,
All right.
the beautiful, the sexy,
Talented,
the
amazing.
come on.
Okay. Let's not twerk.
That's right.
Let's not twerk. Okay. All right, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about something that I have quite a few opinions about.
Oh really?
All right.
What's that?
I don't know where you stand though.
Don't
So
help me now.
I don't know how we're going to end this.
Throw
We might
it-
be friends
throw it
or
at
we might
me.
be enemies.
Throw it
So
at
let's
me.
go.
I'm
All
ready.
right.
I'm ready for you.
Cool. So obviously on this podcast, like we've spoken about and will continue to speak about a lot of things relating to mental health,
Right.
problematic
I hear
behaviors.
you.
And something that kind of shows up in that space as well is cancel culture. Right? Because if someone does something that we're like, nah, everybody's like, nah, it's cancelled.
This is
cancelled.
This is a touchy
cancelled,
subject,
right?
you know, right? This is
So-
a very touchy subject.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like that thing, like when we say someone is cancelled AF,
Yeah.
where does that come from? Why do we say it? Is it the best option for those scenarios and those situations?
True.
Is it the best way to manage them?
True.
Is it something we should keep doing? And again, like, how do you know when to cancel someone? When do they cross that line from, it's a bit mad, but it's okay, to nah, cancelled, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of
I get
what I think
where
we
you're
should-
coming
yeah.
from. This topic is actually very dear to me because like I'm in front of it like every day. Like I'm in that space. When you're a creator.
Sorry, I'm in the public eye.
I'm
I'm a celebrity.
Put some respect on my
I'm
name,
sorry,
cuz.
I'm
Put some
sorry.
respect on my name.
Please go on, proceed.
What you talking about?
Proceed
Come
now.
on. So yeah, like I'm in front of this thing like a lot, not personally, but I see like a lot of colleagues and I see people like in that space kind of getting quote unquote cancelled, and it's very rampant like in more recent years because I think social media is just a very wild place. We have to establish the fact that social media is a wild place and anything can happen, right? So the idea of this cancellation or this cancelled culture kind of stems from, let's say somebody is in a space where you feel triggered by what somebody else has said, and or you feel like should I say intimidated or like by what somebody is doing. It might not necessarily be wrong in the sense of it, right? But it's wrong to them because they have a personal inclination to that particular topic.
So wait, hold on. What are you saying? So are you saying even like cancelling someone, like sometimes that's like subjective? Like it's not, what they've done is not objectively wrong, but if a large enough group of people feel like...
It's very subjective. And I feel like it shouldn't be so. Like some people don't take the time to actually denote and draw the line and say, okay, this is towing the line of, okay, this is bad, this is bad behavior, and then this is like, on the border of like, he has a point, like, or she has a point, or let's actually find out what, they were saying in the context of when they said it.
Yes,
Because some people go way back to like 10 years ago and dig up your tweets and be like,
have you seen this you tweets?
Yo!
Like somebody will come out and be like, people shouldn't be talking about women's bodies and women should be allowed to wear whatever. And then somebody will pull up a tweet from 3rd of July 2002, 6:43 p.m. And the person was saying, I just saw a fat girl wearing a short skirt. How dare you? And they're like, bro, this you?
Yeah.
That's
exactly what I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying because I think something we need to get, and let's be clear here. I'm not saying that some of these things are not problematic and should not be dealt with.
Yeah.
But my point is, it was a reflection of a lot more than just that singular person's thinking.
Right?
At
It's
the
not
time.
in context.
Exactly.
It's not in context.
It was a reflection of a societal way of thinking.
Okay.
It was a reflection of the way a lot of people were thinking at the time. Because if you think about it, when the person first tweeted that tweet, there wasn't outrage like that. So
there definitely wasn't outrage like
it
that.
didn't go viral
And
like that.
Even
too.
the person that points it out, like, what were you doing at that time? what were you saying at that?
How did they find those tweets?
Like, or no, what kind of conversation were you having with your friends or people, like maybe behind closed doors even, that we don't know?
Yeah.
So like, you can't just come out and feel like you're entitled to, you know, judge somebody based on what they said 3 years or 10 years ago. Although, let's not, you know, put away with the fact that there are some topics that are very sensitive, and it doesn't matter how long you know it has been.
Absolutely.
So there are some very sensitive topics that even though it was 10 years ago, like you should still be held accountable for like what
so I'm not even saying people should not be held accountable at all.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
what's your point?
We need to have a more sort of nuanced approach to these things, because it's not black and white. We need to be mindful of everything that surrounds the activity. So someone 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago tweeted something problematic. Yes, it should be addressed. Yes, there should be a public statement such that people know it's not okay to say those things, and that's a problematic way of thinking. But also keep in mind that that person is not a silo. That person is not an isolated situation.
True.
It's a reflection of us back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone who hasn't said, thought, or been around and passively allowed others to say or think problematic things in the past.
I don't think everybody that stands up. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's everybody that stands up. But what I do think though is that what you said now is a reflection of us in that space of time, or that period of time, and like how the kind of things we consume, the kind of things, you know, we felt like was okay or appropriate at the time. Because I know, okay, like I was talking with like a group of friends today on like Clubhouse, this app.
Yeah.
So and they were actually talking about this whole cancel thing, like how do comedians kind of toe the line today, you know, based on, you know, what kind of joke you should tell, and like why when people are always in your space of okay, no, you should have said this, why did you do this like that?
Yeah.
Like when you start doing that for everything, like somebody said, okay, I make a joke about a blind man, and then, you know, even the blind man is laughing, but then you have a problem with it. Okay, I make a joke about a crippled person. I make a joke about even a policeman who get offended. I make a joke about a rich man, he wants to arrest you. Like, what can I now talk about at the end of the day?
I know.
Do you understand? Where do you draw the line?
It makes me immediately think of comedians like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. That name came up in conversations.
Yeah, because like sometimes he says things I'm like, that's funny. Sometimes he says things like, I don't think I can laugh at that.
Yeah. He's a rebel. And I like that because he's somebody that can like, he can stand in front of like, you know, the president and talk about why that president is failing the country, and he won't, you know, he won't bat an eyelid. That's who he is. And so he already knows that people hate him, and like he's okay with the fact that I'm saying what I want to say. As far as my cash or my bank is good, do you understand? My account is good.
No, but I think you're absolutely right. I think that's where that like subjectivity comes into play, because some people will find it funny and not think there's anything wrong with it, but there will be people that are not happy about it. But I think as time goes on, more and more is seeping through to the, okay, this should now be objective kind of thing. Like you cannot be making insensitive jokes or irresponsible jokes that may encourage bad behavior or like sexual assault or like those types of things.
What is an insensitive joke? Can we just define that? Like, I know someone that has cracked or that cracks jokes or that has cracked jokes about rape culture and like rape in itself, like we said, like some sensitive topics, right? So rape culture in itself, they cracked a joke about that, but then they were not cracking a joke about rape being, you know, cool or being a joke. They were trying to like enlighten people as to how to alleviate the problems surrounding that, you know, that experience. And then he was telling me that somebody actually, like, he felt like his joke had a point to it, and some people didn't even wait for him to land. Some people didn't even wait for him to get to the point, and they were already offended, and they were judging him. But like he had the mindset of, you know, that's their business. If you can't think for yourself, then like you shouldn't put that burden of me of like why.
No, like, I don't think it's so much that they can't think for themselves. I think but I think particularly in the sphere of like comedy, it's a difficult one, right?
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult because as a comedian, you're doing so many things. There's jokes, but then sometimes you're trying to be informative, or sometimes you're trying to just be a reflection of the times and what's going on. So there's a lot going on there. Everything. So I think with that one, there's a wider conversation to be had there. I think when we talk about cancelled as well, not just in that space, but even just in casual spaces of just anyone, any like public figure as well, where it's not in the context of a joke. It's not as if you said one thing and it could have been taken one way, but you really meant this. It was that you outrightly came and said something problematic. Okay?
Like as a blank statement?
As a blank statement.
Okay.
And then you do that, and then people, you know, just say, okay, yeah, this person is done. We're done with you. You're cancelled.
But like, why is that? First of all, is that approach productive? Does it move the conversation forward? Is it progressive? I think it's bullying. In my opinion, it's bullying.
Are you calling people who cancel people bullies?
They are bullies. Like plain and simple. You just call it out for what it is. They are bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't like pressure somebody into, you know, thinking something like, okay, a child does something wrong, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you whoop the child's ass, or you beat up the child. I don't like, in this day and age, I don't think that's a progressive way to kind of correct a child, right? Because that leaves some kind of mental scars that you can't even begin to process, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They start thinking that violence should be equated with love.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
So I don't think it's progressive at all whatsoever.
I agree
so
with you.
You trying to like, you know, blacklist someone for saying something, it's not progressive in any way.
No, I agree with you. I think this is my problem with cancel culture, right? So like we talked about before, how, you know, people can just say, we need to keep in mind that it's not just what they're saying, but it's also a reflection of a lot that's going on.
Yeah.
And as time goes on, you'll find that a lot of the people who said some of those things those years ago
don't
think that way anymore. I won't repeat that. In fact, sometimes, a lot of the time, they don't even remember they said anything.
They don't remember.
I think sometimes when some of them see those tweets, they might think to them, did I really say that?
Yeah, did I really? Like, they'll actually go and have to check.
Yes, and this is not to be an apologist, though. Problematic is problematic.
It's problematic.
But my point is this. With cancel culture, do we leave any room for rehabilitation as well? Do we leave any room for these so-called people that we've said are quote-unquote trash?
To save themselves.
To learn, to do, like, if we just say, okay, you've misbehaved, corner, you've misbehaved. We've now just created a massive corner of problematic human beings.
Never ending, like, they are just there, like, the problem didn't move, like, the problem didn't disappear, it just moved from point A to point B. It's still there. And they're even thinking to themselves, why is this person attacking me, or why are these people attacking me? They're in defense mode, right? So they're not thinking of, oh, I should be correcting myself, or like their own is like, why are you attacking me, or like, won't you say something like that,
and then that
or haven't you said something like that in the past?
Now just means that instead of like trying to understand, it's almost okay, it's like you against me, you know, and it's not like we're working together, because really what we should be doing is working together to try and progress, like the entire group of us forward, right? So I think that's my issue with cancel culture. And you said something about how like some of them, or maybe to you most of them, are bullies. I feel like, yes, there is a lot of bullying that goes on as part of cancel culture, but I also think that there is a part of it where it's not so much about the let's deal with this person, let's bully this person. I think there is some validity in that people want there to be consequences. Okay. And I think that is also embedded in what is cancel culture, is that's for some people, that is the best sort of weapon or ammunition that they have against some of these bigger people or popular, because you find most of the time it's big people. Yeah, popular people. It's popular people. I say big, that's not accurate. Popular what I'm trying to say. Popular or like famous or well-known or well-to-do or whatever. And those are the people that are getting, because I think for a lot of people, they feel like that's the only avenue to make them less human, right? Yes, it's like, oh, okay, this musician did something. All right, we're not listening to his song again.
You can't be immortal.
We gave you the fame, so we're going to strip you of it.
We made you who you are, kind of thing.
So yes, there's a bit of bullying there, but I think there's the thing of like facing consequences, because obviously a lot of these things aren't actually crimes. They're not crimes. So it's not like somebody's going to arrest you. Because they were perfectly okay at a point in time. Do you understand? When you use that maybe 5 years back, 10 years back, they were okay. Like nobody will have seen, okay, now when did they make like the LGBTQ community now? When did they make, you know, that a thing that everybody should see and administer or admonish as, you know, a respected group of people with their own opinions in their own rights? Like that was only recently. That was like when did it become more generally acceptable? Exactly. That was like Obama's era, I think. So like even before that, there have been gay people, and they felt like they were oppressed, or like they felt like they were oppressed. Yeah, they were oppressed, so to speak. So the same way they say black people fought for their rights and all of that, it's the same way, you know, gay people fought for their rights to be heard. So I think like back then we could get away with a lot of shit as compared to now. Yes. So now it's like, in that time, you that you're canceling me, were you not having the same conversations I was having? Or were you not in that space of, you know, talking about similar things that I was having? So me that
me that you're bringing out or calling out as I should be cancelled, what now happens to you that as well? Like, you know, deep down in your heart, you're having this same conversations with your friends. Yeah. Do you understand? Why should I get punished and you shouldn't get punished?
Do you know what I think triggers people? What I think triggers people is hypocrisy. What I think triggers people is, okay, imagine you now. Yeah. You now say, oh, you know, as part of like community work and activism or whatever, you're going to work very closely with, I don't know, some organization that helps women who've been abused. Okay. Then somebody now come out and say, you. Okay. By the way, I'm not saying you abused anybody.
Not me.
Somebody now come out and say, you that you did this to me and that. I think hypocrisy is one of the triggers, right? Where people are like, how dare you be saying this shit as if it wasn't you who was back in the day. Okay. So I think that's part of what triggers it. Because I think deep down inside, and it's not fair to say that we've all said things that we should be cancelled for, but it's exactly as you said, deep down inside, like we know.
I think we all have.
Do you think?
I think we all, like everybody has
said something that is cancellation worthy.
Yes, it's cancel worthy. I'm telling you, like, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm 100% of that, because there's nobody that tells me that they go into their house, they don't talk about, oh, how this fat person was looking today, or how this, like, something as minimal as that. How this child was, you know, gobbling down like they haven't fed them. Like,
obviously, at the time, they may not have known
exactly
how bad it was, or like the sort of negative consequences that could result, you know, to in terms of the person that they were speaking about.
And there's people that are cancelling other people, and they're still saying those like similar things that are cancel worthy every day. Do you understand? But they're not checking themselves. Yeah. They're not checking themselves.
So like, that's an interesting perspective, right? It's like thinking about like yourself and like, are you doing stuff?
Are you doing your due diligence in the space? You're talking about canceling somebody else.
Somebody's tweet came out one time, I can't remember who it was, and I thought to myself, Chubby, how long have you been on Twitter for? I went to check, I think it was something like 2012 or 2013. I said, yeah. I started thinking, who was I in 2013? As I'm saying this now, I hope nobody is going to go and look at my tweets. So as I'm saying this,
telling you.
I think, I can't remember who it was. Someone put out a blanket statement and said, look, I just want you to know I'm a new person now. Anything you find from the past, know that that's not me anymore. Yeah. So I think you might be right. I think a lot of us, if not most of us, if not all of us, have probably said things that other people could cancel us for.
Yeah.
I think,
Like, if we're thinking about, what would we say about people that are not even progressive, that don't want to change, that want to be stuck in their ways? That feel like there's nothing wrong with saying what I've said, and like, whether you like it or not, roll with it. So
do you think that in that case, because from what we're saying, it sounds like we're leaning towards the direction of cancellation is quite extreme. So do you think in that case, then cancellation is appropriate? Because this person is saying,
so do what you like.
So then cancellation becomes a life sentence. Is that what we're saying? No possibility of parole.
I don't see it. You know, this cancel culture has been around for a while, to be honest. Even before the blow up of social media. I think maybe the rest of the world caught up late, but as for Nigeria and Nigerians specifically, we kind of like caught on early. Like, Nigerians have this pride. Like, it takes so much pride in knowing that they are the ones that put you where you are.
They made you.
They made you. Do you understand? You work for us.
You will blow and unblow.
Do you understand? Somebody that doesn't have shishi inside his wallet is telling you that, look, it's my streams that is putting you there. After you stream my music like 1.5 times, or you liked my video, or you commented on my shit, like, how many times did you do that? And you're coming to like claim rights in my life. Do you understand? But let me give you a practical example. I think.
What did you do?
No, not me per se, but like in the space of like the music industry. I'll give like 2 examples. I think there was a time someone had an issue with, I don't even know why the issue came about per se, but like he had an issue with everybody. That was Skills, right? So I think everybody knows Skills has been in the game for a long time. Basically came up with Whiskey, like they were together. And then, you know, there was a point where people thought Skills was kind of like, you know, jealous of Wiz. I think at the point when they separated, and like he was like speaking bad on Wiz's name and everything. And because everybody is Starboy, do you understand? We can't let you like flout our king's orders or our kings that mess around with his name and they go scot-free with it. So like, we'll cancel you from being, you know, a big artist. Not that he wasn't talented. Skills raps, Skills sings. He's brilliantly talented. Do you understand? But people were like, you know what? Because you have done this, we're going to cancel you. And not necessarily, like, he didn't offend anybody per se. But Nigerians thought, okay, because we made you, now we can break you. That was basically what it was. And I don't know if it's that he gave into the will. Right? Because I think there was a point where he fell into like a deep, I won't say depression because I don't know him like one-on-one, so I can't say he was depressed or not, but like he kind of went off for a while, kind of like figuring out his life and what was to happen after that. And there was a time where he was off. So then now comparing that to somebody else, like let's say Mr. Easy. Mr. Easy also went through something like that, something similar. I don't remember what happened, why people said they wanted to cancel him.
What happened? I don't remember.
Yeah, like they said they wanted to cancel Mr. Easy, quote unquote. I think there was like a party he did like on the island. It was like a pool party or something, and then people were like ganging up and said, okay, like it was a whole thing on Twitter, like guys, we're not going for Easy's pool party. Do you understand?
He's cancelled.
I'm telling you because he's cancelled. That kind of thing. Like I think they were offended that I think he said something about moving the culture.
And the origin of I don't know, it's Afrobeats originated in Ghana, was it that?
But Nigerians really took offense to what he said, and they were like, we're cancelling Mr. Easy, he's done with us. And Easy said, you know what, keep your Nigeria. I'm going to go to Ghana, I'm going to go to the UK, I'm going to go to Latin America, I'm going to make music, and today I'm in top 5, most streamed artists in Africa. So you can't hold me back. So
that's a contrast to like obviously the story you said about earlier. But I think the key thing to pull out of that is, and you kind of alluded to it before, where you said like bullying and what cancel culture does to people, and talking about the opportunities for rehabilitation, right? So one thing about cancel culture is that sometimes people don't realize that you can actually, and I know to some degree it is the intention to damage a person, but you can actually really damage a person. You can do a lot of damage. You know?
It's so bad that I don't think there's anything wrong in like sending somebody a message, and like a well thought out message that this is the reasons why I think you shouldn't have said that.
Yes.
Do you understand? Like just have like that emotional EQ for like 2.5 seconds. It doesn't kill you. Do you understand? Then to just come out, and some people just jump on the bandwagon because of clout. Do you understand? So in my opinion, it's like this can damage somebody like really, permanently.
Yes, it's
like skills might have been strong enough to withstand that and come back, and even come back twice as tall. Like he came back and he blew out. Like Shake Body was like one of the biggest songs in Africa when it came out. So like my respect to him for life. But somebody else might have considered suicide because of that.
Absolutely.
Somebody else might have thought to swallow a pill or something.
We wouldn't even know.
We wouldn't know.
We wouldn't even know.
That's the sad part.
We wouldn't even know. So it's like it's in that. It seems like cancel culture comes from a place of trying to punish problematic behavior, but then when you now become quite problematic in the way that you're trying to punish someone for being problematic, are we really solving a problem?
It's worse.
Are we really solving a problem?
It's worse.
So it just makes me think about like, okay, so again, like you always like to say, so Chubby, what's the way forward? Where do we progress to? Okay, so
that's not how are you mad?
That's how you talk now.
That's not how I sound.
Okay, maybe not exactly, but that's what it sounds like to me.
That's not.
So in your words,
I'm kicking you off this show. Like I'm kicking you off this show.
You can't kick me off this episode. You're the one that still use your eyes to come and look for me. So okay, how do we take it forward then? So someone does something. Is it like you said? Is it a spectrum? Should our response, much like I guess legal systems, should our response match the intensity of the issue? So if someone does something that's a little bit, we're like, yo, guy, kind of check yourself or tweets.
But this topic is mad though, because there are a lot of mad people on Instagram. There are just people that are just there to just. My work today is just to annoy somebody. I want to just mess this person's life up. And you now go to their page, they don't have profile picture, they have 0 followers, then -1 following. I don't understand. Their work is just to be bought on Instagram. So like, if we're addressing this to sane human beings, how about these people that are not even sane in the first place? So there are people that will always, be there to kind of spark or ignite. And bad news travels way faster than good news does. So like that spark will light way faster than whatever good means that you're trying to do. So I think one thing we should also address is the people that are being targeted by these things, like how you should be able to cope with it, because there will always be opposition. Do you understand? We can't
so do you mean the people who are being cancelled?
Yeah, the people that like get targeted of this cancel culture. So like I respect Kevin Hart for one thing. Like his whole scandal. You don't want
to know my thoughts on Kevin Hart.
His whole scandal that time. Right? He came out and he was like, fuck it. Like, I'm done. I'm tired of explaining. I've done some, like, what else can I do to explain to you that, look, I'm not this person anymore. I'm tired. If you don't like it, like, then go. Do you understand?
But do you know what that makes me not think? Are people like, I don't know what the term is, but are there people who are like, they just, like remorse porn. Like they just want to see you sorry.
Constantly.
And ever and crying and like they never want to see you reach the point of, look, I know I fucked up. I'm sorry. Won't happen again. But yeah, I kind of have this thing to do, which is live my life. Like, is that something that happens? Do you think that's something that contributes to it? It's like they just want to see you pay for it forever.
There are people like that. There are people like
kind
that.
Of thing.
Their mind is just twisted. Their mind is, I can't really speak for those people because I don't understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Like, why do you want somebody to be like in perpetuity just be apologizing because of what? How does that benefit you? You are not directly affected by this situation in the first place. Like, okay, like.
Not so. I know sometimes we can easily think, oh, it wasn't you they did the thing to, but again, we live in a society. So if person A is going to move mad to person B, person A is telling other people like person A that, you know what, it's okay to move mad to people like person B.
No.
So we need to address that.
No.
So I know it might not affect me directly, but if you're harassing women, you know, if you're being racist.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
It's affecting me.
That's not what I mean.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back to a practical example so we can understand. Like, for the Kevin situation, you know, the whole gay and lesbian community kind of came out and said, oh, this is wrong. And he
is that what you were thinking about? I was thinking about when he cheated on his wife.
Oh no, that was cheating on his wife was before.
I'm making a joke about it.
Cheating on his wife was before that.
Okay.
If I'm getting my facts right.
Yeah, okay.
I think cheating on his wife. So people now even brought that back and we're like, oh, like he's a cheater, he's a this, you know, that kind of thing, and kind of compounded on situation. He made a tweet. Somebody brought out, they announced that he was going to host, was it the what award ceremony was that? We need a fact checker on this show. Like our fact checker is somewhere else. So he was supposed to host the Oscars. Yes, that was it. He was supposed to host the Oscars, and like he said, like that's been a long time dream of his. I think only Chris Rock also has done it in that space. So when the Academy brought out his name, they said Kevin's going to be host of the show. I don't know, for some reason somebody said, okay, this is a good time to stalk Kevin Hart's past, and he went into his Twitter 10 years. Oh,
was that what triggered it? Okay.
He went into his Twitter feed 10 years back, and so when he was making gay jokes. Like it was something funny. So, and it was just like very blotted out the way he said it. And somebody said like, I don't think this person should be allowed to be on that kind of stage because the Oscars is being inclusive these days. And we need, you know, people of different, like someone that has these opinions should not be on that stage addressing certain people because he's homophobic. And boom, the press just ran with it.
Did he end up hosting it?
No. He said the Academy told him he has to issue an apology to the gay community, to the LGBTQ community, or else he's not hosting it. And Kevin said, "Fuck that, he's not." Oh,
was that because he had apologized before?
Yeah, he said he had already apologized before for that same tweet, and somebody's now bringing it back again, and he wants him to apologize. He said, "No, I'm done apologizing."
About that though, I know I'm saying like we shouldn't be out here just trying to do remorse porn and just wanting people to be sorry forever, but I feel like. Were people hurt all over again by that? And does that then justify another apology being made?
Like, I don't think a lot of people didn't even know the first time he apologized.
This is what I'm saying.
So this now made it like it was fresh topic, like it was the first thing that happened. So people didn't know in the first instant that he had apologized, but he knew he had apologized, and it's like, what am I just going to keep another 5 years? They'll ask me to apologize again. Another 10 years they'll ask me to apologize again.
So maybe it's the attitude. Maybe
and like he's not going on Twitter 10 years back. Say, okay, let me go and start deleting all this. Like, do you understand? So
although I know some people who deleted their entire Twitter account because
bro.
Are you one of them?
No. You can go and check my Twitter. I don't say anything other. Come on now, trust me, man.
Challenge accepted.
Go and search my Twitter. I'm good. I'm squeaky clean. I'm squeaky clean.
Yeah, no, but I hear you. No, it's quite interesting. So I think like, okay, in terms of, do we now feel like, are we saying that we feel like cancel culture should just not be a thing? Is there any justifiable reason for it?
That it's not progressive, for one.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
The problem doesn't die.
Yeah.
It just moves from point A to point B. That's all that happens. It doesn't necessarily die. So in my head, cancel culture is completely useless because it doesn't take you forward. It only takes you back.
Just made me think of when everybody said we're cancelling R. Kelly, right? And somebody said she came into a restaurant in Lagos.
R. Kelly.
And they played one R. Kelly song. She didn't want to sing, but
the music touched her spine.
But then she asked herself, said, if I don't sing this song, what am I really changing by not singing this song? Or if I tell them to stop playing it, what am I really changing?
Do you understand?
By telling them to stop playing the song?
In his songs, he's not saying, yo, sleep with a teenager, like molest a baby. Like, he's not saying any of that. He made good music. And that's facts.
But I understand that there's frustration.
Why can't people separate the art from the artist.
That conversation is...
Why?
That conversation is something else. I think it depends on the context, right? I can separate the art from the artist if it's something where there's a feeling of obligation and like social responsibility, right? If it's something where it doesn't really harm the society or it doesn't really harm anyone, it's just like a weird thing about them that I don't like personally. Like maybe I don't think they're physically attractive. I can still listen to your music and go, like I don't care, right? But if it's something you're doing where you're misbehaving out here in these streets,
but you need to understand,
in a way that is causing problems.
Chubs, you need to understand that we are human beings, right?
I know
First
that.
of all,
I know that.
Nobody has all the right answers.
True.
Right?
True.
So like there's some people that grow up like in a very, and this is even more typical for artists like and like more famous people. They grew up in a situation or in an environment that wasn't really enabling for them.
That's
Do you understand? They went through a lot of like molestation, abuse, you know, like different kind of weird shit that made them who they are. So that quirkiness of who they are came from a rough place, and that will affect who they are as a person, but then their art speaks as an outlet, you know, for that bad environment that they were in. So their art is kind of an escape from that, you know, bad, you know, experience they had growing up. But then their personality or their human being, the human nature of them, has encompassed that environment, or that environment has encompassed them. So it follows their personality. But then their escape is like to create art, to run away from it. So when people like hear like great music and great artists like MJ, like have like sleeping over with kids and like all those kind of... Do you understand? Chris Brown?
No, not Chris Brown now, but Chris Brown in terms of
Riri.
Okay, and then people were like, that's fucked up, but at the same time, it's Chris Brown's music.
And he was a teenager at that point, like, do you understand? People didn't even give him any benefit of the doubt whatsoever. I don't think I've heard of any Chris Brown beating case or any domestic violence.
Since then?
Since then. I don't think I've heard, if there has. But what I'm saying is that some people can grow, and some people are kind of traumatized by their experiences. So it's like, yo, how were you hurt, and how can we help you grow from that?
Absolutely.
Not, yo, don't play his music. Yo, he shouldn't be making money. He shouldn't be, like, do you understand?
It's like, what can we do to make you better?
And
let's let that be the focus as opposed to fire for fire.
Exactly.
No,
like,
I get
Bill Cosby was like one of my biggest idols till today. Do you understand? And like, I still can't reconcile how Bill Cosby created so much magic and then mixed and combined that person of who he is. I don't understand it. It's crazy.
It sounds like what we're saying is cancel culture can be problematic. It does not leave room for rehabilitation. It does not leave room for solving the root cause of the problem. And maybe also we need to check ourselves in the sense that sometimes we can become, our behaviors can be quite toxic as well when we are sort of enforcing the cancellation of a person.
Doing fire for fire, you must collect.
So this has been quite interesting.
Very interesting.
So I thought we were going to fight, but I think we're still friends. I think we're still on the same. Okay, we good. All right, cool. So that's been interesting. That's been great. So yes, I think that's about it then for now.
We're wrapping up.
So hopefully we sparked a conversation, and this will kind of go on.
I'm sure we definitely did.
People will continue to discuss this maybe and think about ways to move forward. So thanks everyone for listening to this, for watching this. Thank you for being part of our conversation, because I know people were listening and going, I know. Let us know what you think, right? And we'll see you on the next episode.
Peace.
Don't with me.
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Don't F With Me Pod.
Don't hug the couch, my friend.
No, for
Move
you.
over.
Okay.
So we're also on all major podcast platforms. So find us there, and you can see the links to our YouTube. So subscribe, right?
Yeah. Should we tell them where to find us individually as well? Because I don't want to be with you all the time, you understand? I want my own thing. All right, so if you're looking for me, you can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Chubby_oddly.
Okay, if you're looking for me, you can find me on Instagram at og.tega, so that's og.tega, and Twitter as theogtega. Boom.
Are we spelling? Oh, Chubby as in Chubby, and then _ODDLY.
Why do you have to copy me?
I just want
all
people to
the
know that I
time?
can spell
like,
too.
Why do you have to be like me?
I just want them to know that I can spell.
Why do you really have to be like me all the time?
All right, I need to get out of here.
I hate you.
He tried it.